Hi, welcome to Doodle Club. Today we're going to draw three creepy cats, and the challenge really for this video is to start with some like real basic shapes for these cat characters, and then to just slowly drill down into more and more detail with them until we've got something that looks relatively complex. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. These are the materials you're going to need today. I'm going to use my A5 Art Gecko Classy sketchbook, but then also my regular set of pens, which is a 0.1, a 0.7 and a 1.5. So the 0.1 for those little tiny details at the end that I was just talking about. 0.7 is going to be for most of the line work that we're going to do today, and the 0.5 we're going to do quite a lot of colouring in today, so have a fat pen or something you can colour in with for today's characters as well. Also, it's worth noting that actually you'll struggle to colour these in with regular colours, and they need to be black because these blacks are going to go over the top of some of our lines that we're going to draw in with this 0.7 pen. Okay, so yeah, just make sure if you're considering colouring this in, you might want to do these first stages just using a pencil. Obviously, I'm going to go straight in with a pen though, so I'm going to grab that 0.7. I'm going to work with that. And I'm going to start with just a line going across the page, a horizontal line going across the page. This is going to be the page where all my cats will kind of sit on. So I'm going to bring it down here to about this point, look. And it's just a little base, something for the cats to kind of grow out from, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to do three cats, so small, big, and small. So we'll start with the big one in the middle, because then that will help us position the others, okay? Basic shapes first then. So up here, let's go and put in some sort of basic head shape like that. See how it's a little bit curvier across the top, a little bit flatter across the bottom, but still a curve. So go and throw that in first, and then off the top of that, and we're going to do the same pretty much with all of our cats here. Off the top of that, just go and put in a little line coming up from the side, going into the head like that. That's going to be for the ears, obviously. Once you've got that in, let's get into the body now of the middle cat. So body of the middle cat, all we're going to do is going to go through the front of the neck, the chest, and down the front of the body of this character. So right in the middle there, let's just give it a bit of a chest and then go down. So just a little tiny lump out and then down. And then what we're going to do on the other side is we're going to go across the back of the neck and the back of the character. So this time it's going to come out a little bit further. Don't go too far out because you need enough space to whip in another cat just there. But let's start just there. Let's go something like that, yeah? That'll do nicely. We'll throw in some tails later. Let's go and put another cat in. So let's go over here this time now. Remember, as we do this head shape, to leave yourself enough space for the ears. So don't go tuck that right in there because you need enough space for the ears. So you're doing that eyeball kind of head shape, two ears coming off either side. That's our starting point. This one's going to have a slightly different body, okay? So we're going to do the neck, shoulder, leg in like a bouncy line coming down, okay? So once you've done that bit, then start here, look, do the neck like that. Shoulder like that. So it's just a bounce, just kind of jumps off, drops down the side. And then the leg, just another one of those, just maybe a little bit bigger like that. Okay, do something similar on the other side. So watch this, we're going to do neck, bounce for a shoulder, bounce for a leg, bring it down to the bottom like that. We've got ourselves another cat shape. Last cat, let's go and whip it in over here. So this time I'm thinking that I'm going to have a tail in there. So I'm going to move my cat over just a little tiny bit more. Let's put it about there. There's that head shape again. There's those ears. We're going to go similar to what we've done with this body shape on this one, but we're just going to make it maybe a little bit more clunkier. So let's go for a chest. Like that. And then let's go for a back. So down the neck, back, bring it in. So you see how this one's a little bit smoother, this one's a little bit sharper with the lines. That'll do nicely. That'll do really nicely. Let's go and put in some tails on these characters. So you can put these tails in wherever you like, really. Just you kind of want them coming out from the corners, here, here, and here. And then, yeah, just have them coming out wherever you like. I'm going to go with one just there. Look. I think my only rule when you're doing the tails is try to have them a little bit fatter at the base of the tail, at the base of the cap, a little bit thinner at the tip of the tail, okay, that kind of thing. Let's go and throw one in here as well. So we're kind of running out of space in there. Let's go across. With a weird tail like that. That's okay, that would do. Last tail. What my suggestion is, look at the amount of gap we've got here between the edge of the sketchbook. Kind of try and do something similar over here, so we can, let's go and bring that tail all the way out there. No right or wrong with this. Okay, let's go and finish off by putting in some feet and just joining this line together a little bit. So what I want us to do is just, for the feet, we're going to take lines like this. Big chunky feet like that. Let's put another foot in over there because that's where we know the feet will be. But then this baseline that we've got down the bottom here, I just want to thicken that out a little bit. So any parts of these cats that are not touching the baseline, we just want to thicken that out a little bit. So like over here, look, for example, just bring that across there. We've got a little bit in between those two feet, a little bit between the tail and that, and then just over there to close it off down the end. It's just making that line a little bit thicker. Okay. So we've got our three basic cats in, three basic lines, nice and quick and easy, not worrying about it too much. All pretty much the same kind of technique of that eye-shaped head, that leaf-shaped head, two ears either side, yeah? What we'll do now is we're going to zoom in. So next we're going to focus on a little bit more detail in each of these cats. I'll start over this side, I'll work my way across. I'm going to stick with my 7.7 pen for this. We will go down to a 0.1 to add a little bit more detail to these bits that we're doing now, okay? But for the time being, stick with your 0.7, okay? First thing we'll do, let's go and put some inner ears on our cat. So just put some little bits in there. These are little bits that we're going to leave. We're not going to colour these bits in black, okay? Then what we'll do is we'll go and add in a mouth for this cat over here. Now the cat over here is going to have quite a pronounced mouth, and we're going to put in loads of teeth on there as well. So yeah, let's go and do that. We're going to go right from here and then all the way across with a big line like that. Big mouth shape. Over on this side, let's put an eye in. D shape. Over on that side, put an eye in. Just a little D shape. And that's good. Right, what we're going to do now is we're going to go through and put some teeth in on this character. So the first thing I suggest is a line that goes all the way across for the middle of the teeth. I mean, you could just leave it like that. That looks like an almighty pair of lips. You could just leave it like that if you wanted to. It's totally up to you on here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and draw in each individual tooth. So from the top row up, just going to go in. I'm going to go in with some fat lines, some short teeth, some long teeth. Just working my way across there, adding in loads of individual teeth, yeah? See this little bit? We've got this little tiny gap here. That's the kind of stuff that we're going to get rid of. So just colour those bits in where you've got short teeth. Let's kind of do something similar down the bottom row. Should have a bit more fun down the bottom row because we've got loads more space we can play with. There we go. So we've put in all of those teeth. All those little gaps that you've got, go and colour in those little gaps. This is the back of the mouth. We're going to colour those bits in. How's that looking? That's the kind of thing you want. So we're doing creepy cats today, so that's perfect for that cat. Last thing on this cat, do you want to put anything on the chest? I'm going to put something individual on each chest. So I think for this one, I'm just going to put in like a little leaf shape just there. And that's a shape that I'll just leave blank when we do all the colouring in, okay? There's cat number 1 done. Let's go and do cat number 2. So let's just move over a little bit. Look, cat number 2. What are we doing for this one? This one's going to have, well, let me show you. Let's go and do the inner ears first. Top tip for the inner ears. You want the tip of the ear. Look, that triangle that we've put in there, look, it wants to be quite fat down the bottom here, but then as we get to the top, a little bit thinner. So this bit is going to be coloured in. See how close it all is together just there? See how far apart it is just there? Try and do that. It's going to make our ears look a little bit better. Okay, loads of fun this next one. What we're going to do is we're going to put a little skull in on this one. I'm going to start with a little bouncy line across the bottom here, which is going to be for teeth. So let's go from here. See that neck? That neck's in the middle, so use that as a bit of a guide so you've got the right amount of teeth on either side. And then let's go all the way around like this. It's for the outside of the skull. We'll finish this off with 2 eyeballs. Just going to go regular circles. Look, find the edge of the teeth. Just put a double-lined circle in there. So you find him where the teeth stop. Just move up from there. Double-lined circle. And again, we'll come back to that with loads more detail. But that's perfect. That's all we need for the time being. What do you want to put on the chest on this character? Do you want to put anything on the chest? This is bits that we don't have to colour in. I'm going to go with a few of these kind of shapes. There we go. Just something that will give, just to add a bit of contrast into the body of these characters, because they're all going to be black. A little tiny bit of contrast is going to look great. In fact, one thing I have seen which does look good is, let's go and put in like some little stripes here. Look. Little lines going across the tail. That's going to be a bandage going around the tail. Beautiful. That's good. Let's go and work on our next cat. Next cat is going to be particularly creepy. We're still going to do the inner ears. So go and put those inner ears. But this cat is just going to have one eye, and the eye is going to be a nice big eye in there with a great big pupil in the middle like that. That's all it is. This one though, down on the chest, we're going to have a little tie. We're going to draw a tie on it. So let's go for a little triangle at the top. Look. Little triangle at the top, and then the bottom part of the tie. So we're just going to bring a line down. I mean, it might be easy for you to start with a V shape down the bottom here, look, and then just join it all up. And hopefully that will make a little bit more sense when we colour in. Okay, now if you are using pencil, that's the end of your pencil lines. Go and grab a pen now, because we're going to, well, you should actually be able to see from there which bits you can colour in, which bits are going to have black outlines around. The thing for me is I'm colouring in the whole of the cat. So when I get to this cat, everything's going to get coloured in. The eyes, ears, teeth, and chest are the only bits that don't get coloured, okay? So let's do it. And what would be really cool here would be to see what kind of cats people come up with. So have a go at drawing a cat yourself in the same manner, but then seeing what you can do to it to make it creepier, cuter, whatever you want. Add your own stamp to it. You've seen how I've done it with these three. I've given you 3 examples, how to put the eyes in, how to put some teeth in. Look at these teeth now. As we go around the rest of the cat's head. See how those teeth just glow and look a little bit creepier. Let's get down into the neck. In fact, I'm going to start over here on the tail because I don't want to smudge anything. So even though we're using Fineliner pens, there's quite a lot of ink in the 1.5. So your sketchbook does stay wet for quite a while. So yeah, just always be considerate of where you're placing your hand. Let's move our way across. Look. You can see why you need a fatter pen for this bit. Gets it done so much quicker. You don't want to be colouring in with a Fineliner. That'd be daft. Just get in with the fat pen, work your way across. There we go, look. First cat done. You might need to give it a second coat sometimes, especially even with Fineliners. You want to give it a double coat of ink to make it really black, or even a digital version so that you can make it really black as well. But yeah, that's a great start. I like that cat. Let's go and move across to our other cat. And again, we're going to do the same principle. We're going to leave the ears, going to leave the skull and those bits on the chest as well. You could, if you wanted to, colour the eyes in the skull black. I'm going to try half toning them. So I'm going to put some little tiny lines in. So yeah, maybe wait and see what that looks like and then decide which method you want to go with on yours. But for the time being, let's get the bulk of it done, the basic bits. There you go, just take your time. You see I've just gone slightly out the line there. Across the top of the head, just that little tiny bit up there, it's gone slightly out of the line. So if ever you do things like that, just go over it again, look. Make it disappear. But probably worth me telling you that at this point we are going to come back onto these cats. We are going to go in with a thinner pen. We're going to add some nice little intricate details. So yeah, don't get too stressed. If you do get little bits like that, little lumps coming out, leave it till later, because there might be something that comes up later that will help you cover over any of those little kind of rogue lines that you've done. Okay, let's get into the neck and the chest. What you'll notice at this point as well is that the more stuff you've got going on the chest, the less you've got to colour in. So you actually get drawn a little bit quicker. You get your drawing finished a little bit quicker. Also worth noting that actually when you're drawing these shapes, initially the outside of the black line, so you see that one down there, the outside of the black line is the mass, is the biggest part of that shape. However, if you know that it's going to be coloured in around the outside like this is, as soon as you colour in around the outside, it's actually the inside of that black line that becomes the entirety, the mass of that shape, which is considerably smaller. So it's yeah, it's just worth remembering that when you're putting these shapes in, if you know you're going to colour around the outside, just draw them a fair chunk bigger than you think. Especially if, like this, you're working in ink, you can. It's easy with ink to make things smaller. Not quite so easy to make them bigger. Not like with Posca, where you could just get out a white Posca and you could go to town on it. As we get up into the stripes here, let's just stop on those stripes. That's a little bandage going around the end of the tail, so just stop there and leave that bit of the tail. Okay, let's move over into our next cat. Next cat, same thing. Leave the inner ears, leave the white of the eye and the tie. I am going to colour in the pupil black on this one though, because this is not one of the main characters. My main character is sitting there in the middle. I want that to be the focal point, so that's why I'm putting a little bit of the half tone on that cat and not these ones on the outside. Kind of wanting them to blend out a little bit more. Let's go around that tie. Now when you were drawing these bodies, the whole point of having these like clunky bodies with loads of lines in was for the next stage, which is going to be adding extra bits of fur to our character. It's something, you know, if we're drawing zombies and stuff like that, we tend to have, rather than drawing a straight line, we draw a slightly crooked line, because every time there's a little bend in the line, that's an opportunity to do something with that line, whether it's to add a wrinkle like we would on a zombie, or add some fur like we're about to do on these cats. So obviously if you haven't got those tight bends in, you can sort of just manipulate the shape a little bit now, change it all if you need to bring those in. Lovely. There's our 3 creepy cats. Let's go next stage then. So we've done all the basics. We've started to drill down into some of the details and all the faces, but let's drill down even more. So this is where you will now want to grab your thinnest pen. So this is where I'm going to grab my 0.1. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go across all of these characters, adding in chunks of fur and things to make them look a little bit more interesting. So work with me here. Let's go and do this. Let's go and put some little bits of fur. Look at that. 2 little bits of fur on the top of the head there. Looks so much better already. Maybe a little bit of fur around the ears. Just some scruffy bits sticking up there, look. Maybe even a little bit just poking out down the bottom there. A little tiny bit of fur there, that looks nice. And this is where we're going to use that opportunity. Anytime there's like a little bend, that's where we're going to throw some fur in. So look at these shoulders. These shoulders are perfect, look. These little furry bits just hanging on the end there. Let's do some on this side. Work your way down. We've got these legs as well. Put some little tiny bits in, some big chunks of fur, whatever you want. But for me, they make a huge difference to the look of our cat. Let's go and work on the tail. So we've got loads of bends in the tail. every time there's a bend, it's an opportunity to stick a little bit of fur out. Lovely. That looks pretty good. I like that one. Maybe at this point as well, you just got to make those ears a little bit pointier. At the moment, we've got these like little 7M lines. But let's go and put some 1M lines in there. Look at that. Okay, let's move across to our next cat. We're going to do the same kind of thing. Let's go and add some fur. This one's a little bit bigger, so let's go and add some chunkier fur into the head there. Same kind of thing in the ears. I'm going to go with little furry bits up there. Look. Work our way across the head. Let's do, you kind of want a bit of symmetry but without it being exactly the same. So I did 2 little bits of fur there. I'm going to do 2 that side, but they are slightly different on either side. Let's do some big bits of fur coming down here, look. Coming from the neck, going across the neck. That, getting really big with that one. Really big with that one. Let's go and put something in above it as well. Let's bring that line out. And again with this, there's no right or wrong answer to this. Just go and do what you think looks fun. I'm going to curve off this neck a little bit. Look. Just take that line there. And then continue it. Work your way down. We've got this chest sticking out. So again, another opportunity to put some fur in on the chest. Down the back, we've got some definite areas there. And then get onto the tail. Last little bit, the tail. And in that tail, where we've got that bandage, we can have just little tiny bits of fur just knocking out into the gaps. Just kind of coming out those gaps in the bandage. Look. Let's concentrate on fur. Let's go and do the fur on our last cat character. Then we are going to bring it back to this skull, finish off some little details in this skull as well. So last one. Let's go and think about where we want to add these bits of fur in. You know, but don't think about it too much, just chuck them in. There we go, that looks okay. Let's bring it down into the chest. Just a few little bits. finally into the tail for this last one. Now I've pretty much, everywhere there's a bend, I've put in a bit of fur. That doesn't mean to say you can't just put fur in anywhere you want. You can put it in anywhere. So if you want to just put a little bit of fur in there, flick a little line out, even if it's a straight part, put it in there. There's a bit there. Let's just stick in these little bits of fur out everywhere. Okay, that's looking great. Let's finish off. Let's wrap this piece up. The last little bit that we're going to do that's important is the skull. I want to give that skull a little bit more shape. So the first thing we're going to do is let's go and put in some wings. Bring out a little line there. Look. I'll just make that part of the eye up on the outside there. Make that part of the line go into a point. And then do the same down on the bottom. See how we're just changing the shape of the eyes. We're giving it a much more human shape of an eye, I think, like a leaf shape, but still with that round eyeball. Let's go and put a little, well, I mean, first of all, let's go and tidy up these bits in here. That make them all a little bit sharper. Again, it's the same as everything else. We've done it with that fat 7, that 0.7. So just go and get in with your 0.1. Add a bit of finesse to the ends of those lines. Let's go and put a little upside down heart in there, the nose. That's looking lovely. And then let's finish off our skulls. With the skull, you know, go crazy with it. Put some cracks in there, put some little dimples in there, quote marks, whatever you want. I'd probably start off with some pupils. I'm just doing little lines, maybe a little bit fatter in the middle. Look. Little lines there for pupils, maybe put in a little crack in the skull there. Little quote marks and things. What else? Little bags, eyebrows, little cracks. So that, yeah, I think usually what you get is a little broken line going across there. Look at that little tiny dashed line. Let's do the same kind of thing across the top of the teeth. Just a tiny dashed line, just to separate all the teeth. Little flicks in there, little dents coming out of the skull. Don't want it to be too even. That would be boring if it was too even. There we go. You could even turn that into like sugar skull stuff, you know, do like little petals around there. That would look pretty cool as well. So I think originally I had this idea of doing like a half tone in there. So I'm just going to thicken out these pupils just a little bit more, because what I don't want these pupils to do is get lost in the half toning. So I want to make sure those pupils are nice and thick. Stick with my 0.1. I'm just going to put some little lines. Just again to bring a little bit of half tone to our piece. I'm going to do the same for the ears. Really like how that's looking, especially for this cat. A little bit of half toning in the tail there as well. And feel free, if you want to do that half toning, if you think that's going to look good in some other elements of the other cats, then feel free to go and do that. I'm not going to fuss it too much. What I am going to do to finish off those, I'm going to flick out, use this 0.1, I'm just going to flick out some little whiskers everywhere. Now what you'll notice is that whiskers come from ears as well as around the nose, so let's go and do that. So we're adding these even thinner lines. All over the place. Same with this one, look. I'm doing 3 in each ear, 3 in each cheek. That doesn't mean you can't do something different, so just play around with it. Do whatever you want to do. Okay, we're at the home straight now, so it's just a case of just finishing off. Anything else you want to change on yours, just have a little bit of a flex with it, change the shape of some of these bits, give it another coat of colour if you want to. Maybe even do something in the background. You could put some little leaves and things in the background. I don't know how that will look. Is it worth me doing that? Let's just try it. Look. I think that works. Yeah, some little bits like that. That works okay. I might just bring out some stuff on the front. I just want to make these cats look a little bit more, have a bit more volume to them. So let me zoom down just a little tiny bit. And so I'm going to do that straight line that we did just there. Just going to try and bring it forward a little bit. For those parts of the cat. That's good. There we go, some extra little pebbles and dashes and stuff. Join that one all up. There we go. I think that is just about a finish. Going to give some of my cats just a little bit of extra fur. Did you want to do little flies? You know me, I love to do little flies hanging around. It's good to just kind of, any little gaps where you feel like you need something to put in there, but you don't know what to put in, just whack in a few flies. I always do one upside down as well, do 1 or 2 upside down. I think we are just about done there. Beautiful little page in our sketchbook. I really like that, 3 creepy cats. Again, just remember that process, really nice and easy process. Starting off with those basic shapes, you know how simple they were, nice basic shapes, getting a little bit more detailed and then colouring everything in, and then going for that extra finesse, that 3rd level of detail where we're going with all the little tiny bits of fur, little details around the skull there, just sharpening everything off. So you're starting with the fat pens, just getting thinner and thinner with your pens to add that extra detail. Lovely. Right, I think that's done. I'm going to leave it like that, so let's go and put a signature on just down here somewhere. There it is. I'm looking forward to seeing your version of this drawing. Right, good luck. I'll see you in the next video.